guys, MCN Mike here. It's no secret that Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise of all time. It's quite literally everywhere, but a lot of people are so quick to jump on the hype train that is the main series games. Sure, those are fun and all, but Pokemon has put out some good spin-off titles as well. No, I'm not talking about the mobile games, those are their own beasts, and maybe I'll make a video about that at some later point. Instead, I want to go to the pre-smartphone era, where there were plenty of quality Pokemon spin-off games on systems like the DS and Game Boy Advance. For this video, I'm just going to talk about a few games that I remember. I acknowledge that there are plenty of Pokemon spin-offs out there, so if I don't mention your favorite, I do apologize. That said, if you're interested in these Pokemon spin-offs and you never tried them before, I recommend hitting up your local retro game shop and whatnot. There's a chance that you can find one of these games just sitting on a shelf in a retro store. I should probably hit up my own place, actually, because there are some spin-offs out there that even I wish I played. Future shopping trips aside, let's talk about Pokemon spin-offs. One small series people think of when they hear Pokemon spin-off is the Pokemon Ranger series. Released 15 years ago in Japan for the DS, Pokemon Ranger takes place in the Fiora region. Fiora consists of 4 major towns, each named after a season. You got Wind Town for winter, Fall City for fall, Summerland for take a wild guess, and Ring Town for spring, which for some reason doesn't have the SP in spring. I think the creative department took a day off when they were developing these games. Towns aside, there are other locations you go to in the game. All over the region, you'll find Pokemon spanning the 3 generations that existed at the time, as this was just before Diamond and Pearl hit the scene. Unlike the regular games, Pokemon are not found in Pokeballs. Instead, people let Pokemon roam free, instead of holding them captive to beat the shit out of each other for experience. The main gameplay makes use of the touch screen. In the Ranger games, you use your stylus to, get this, draw circles around Pokemon. Sounds easy, right? Well, it is fairly simple to understand, but there are some Pokemon that make the gameplay hell to do. You see, when you attempt to capture a Pokemon, you'll see a number appear above the Pokemon you're capturing. This number represents how many circles you need to draw around the Pokemon to catch it. The kicker is that you have to draw all the loops without lifting the stylus off the screen. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Pokemon will try to avoid being captured. They can walk into the styler, which is what the line is called, and disrupt your loop drawing, causing you to restart. Pokemon can also attack your styler and damage you. If your styler hits 0, it's game over. There's some Pokemon that make this so excruciating to do, I wouldn't be surprised if some of your DSs looked like this after beating the game. That said, you're not completely alone. Instead of a traditional starter Pokemon, you're given either a Minute or a Plusle, depending on your character's gender. This is an example of partner Pokemon. Partner Pokemon can be used in battles to help catching certain creatures. Try saying that 5 times fast. If you're drawing more circles than a child in a Christmas catalog telling mommy and daddy what they want under the tree, you can use one of the captured Pokemon to use an elemental attack. This has several effects depending on the partner Pokemon's type. You can temporarily stop a Pokemon's movement on the screen, you can even make it levitate for a short time so you could have less trouble with circling. Electric types also restore your HP, so it's always good to have 1 or 2 electric types on your team at all times. Partner Pokemon make capturing a bit easier, but sometimes the skills are just pointless and don't actually help you. On your adventure, you'll run into the Go Rock Squad, who I like to call Costco Brand Queen. These 4 music-themed villains, known as the Go Rock Quads, which is the S from Go Rock Squad moved to the end of the name, real creative guys. These are the main antagonists of the game, whose goal is to use the Super Styler, a giant machine, to capture the legendary dogs Entei, Suicune, and Raikou from Gen 2 and destroy the world, I guess? Personally, I loved this game, and had so much fun going around the Fiora region. However, I will say, the gameplay probably did a number on my DS's touchscreen, since I was constantly drawing circles. While I never played the 2 later Ranger games, Guardian Signs and Shadows of Almia, I hope they find their way onto Nintendo Switch somehow. Better yet, if we get a new Ranger game on Switch, I'd be down for that. The recent announcement of Project Triangle Strategy had me thinking of another tactics game I used to really like. Pokemon Conquest, released in June of 2012 for the DS. It's like if you put tactics gameplay and Pokemon battle elements in a blender and set it to puree. This game is apparently a crossover between the Pokemon franchise and the Nobunaga's Ambition series of games. Fun fact, this is the first and only time that Koei Tecmo ever worked with the Pokemon brand for game development, as of the making of this video. The plot of Pokemon Conquest is you're a warrior in the Ransai region, where there are 17 kingdoms. It is said that the one who unites the 17 kingdoms has the chance to encounter the legendary Pokemon Arceus. On your journey to accomplish this goal, you'll have to constantly fight against Nobunaga and his subordinates who share the same goal. The gameplay is what you'd expect from a tactics game, as in tile-based movement on a limited playing field. However, the gameplay adds a new layer of strategy with the Pokemon type matchups. So you not only have to adapt with your placement on the map, but you also need to make sure you don't get absolutely bodied by a Pokemon with a type that's better against you. Outside of battling, you have to capture Pokemon in a way that's quite different from how you normally capture them. Similar to Pokemon Ranger, Pokemon are treated more like companions that live with humans. You capture Pokemon by linking with them, which involves pressing A as energy orbs fly across the screen. Successfully doing this creates a link, or in other words, you befriend the Pokemon. I always liked this game. The objective of capturing all 17 kingdoms was enticing to 12-year-old me, and it proved to be fairly challenging. If you didn't pay attention to all the kingdoms that you owned, Nobunaga practically swiped the rug from underneath your feet and would take one of your kingdoms back. With the Nintendo Switch having been out for 4 years now, I'm surprised we haven't seen some of these series brought back. Conquest is a game that's practically made for the Switch, with a bit of tweaking to what appears on screen, since the game came out for the DS, which had 2 screens. You could probably make a decent port of Pokemon Conquest. Even better, a sequel to this game would be super fun. Tactics games like the aforementioned Project Triangle Strategy would really work well on a portable console like the Switch. Another series I have in mind from back in the day is Pokemon Rumble. Pokemon Rumble is a small series of games that involve polygonal chibi-style Pokemon. These little toy-like figures typically had 2 moves, and you basically spam those moves as you went around the map. To get new Pokemon for your team, you had to knock enemy Pokemon over, which was up to chance. With an ability like Topple, however, you greatly increase your odds of catching new Pokemon. This short series of games consisted of Pokemon Rumble from WiiWare, Pokemon Rumble Blast for 3DS, Pokemon Rumble World also for 3DS, and Pokemon Rumble U for the Virtual Boy. What do you mean there was a mobile app? Oh yeah, there was an app called Pokemon Rumble Rush. I wonder how that game did. Yeah, this series historically hasn't been too popular, hardly reaching a 7 out of 10 for most game critics. I don't have too much experience with the series. The only game I played was Pokemon Rumble World on the 3DS. Rumble World was a bit more of a linear experience, as the levels were practically straight lines to the end, but I got decent enjoyment out of it nonetheless. The game is easy enough to pick up with a very simple attack system, and the multiple levels you can access via balloons have a decent variety of Pokemon to find. However, it's this linearity and oversimplification of the gameplay that made this series a turn-off, according to some game journalists. From what I read of critics, they described the gameplay as almost mindless, which does make sense given what you do in the game, that being spamming the A and B buttons. What I will give Rumble World points for, though, is the ability to earn premium currency without spending money. The premium currency in Rumble World is Poke Diamonds, which are used to unlock more balloons to access new areas and get new Pokemon. There's a fountain you can unlock later in the game that gives you a set amount of diamonds every day, meaning you don't have to throw a credit card at the game if you want more diamonds. You just simply have to wait a little bit. Originally, I was gonna stop the video here, but while I was writing this video, I got my hands on new Pokemon Snap. So let's briefly talk about that. I guess you could consider this a mini review, but if you want to see a full-length review, let me know in the comments down below. For the longest time, Pokemon Snap was just a one-time thing. It was a short game where you took pictures of Pokemon in a few rooted locations. In total, there were 63 out of the 151 Pokemon that existed at the time. Now that we're nearing 900 total Pokemon in existence, not counting Mega Evolutions, one may have wondered how another Pokemon Snap could reasonably happen. For 20 years, people were left asking this question, until June 2020, where the Pokemon Company announced that a new Pokemon Snap game was in the works. This amazing game will go by the name of Y. Yeah, you thought the other spin-off games had unoriginal names for locations? Try freaking titles for games. They basically pulled a Mario by slapping the word new on the cover. Regardless of bad naming schemes that would have Xbox on the floor laughing, New Pokemon Snap was a phenomenal follow-up to the original. For something released on Switch hardware, the game was impressive graphically. When it was daytime, it really felt like the sun was out and that everything was so colorful and cheerful. At night, it really felt like you were embarking on a nightly expedition with gorgeous lighting from things like the Illumina orbs. The gameplay is what you'd expect from a photography game. The camera controls are functional enough, nothing special. The game lets you choose between motion controls and joystick controls, which is a very nice touch. Then you just have things like fluff fruits and Illumina orbs that you could throw at Pokemon, and Crystal Bloom plants. I completed the story campaign in about 13 hours, so it's still fairly short like the original Pokemon Snap. With there over being 200 Pokemon to take pictures of, however, you'll certainly be occupied should you want to find them all. Especially since you can only find certain Pokemon when the area's research level is at a certain point. This can either be a great incentive for you to just keep taking pictures and try to top your best scores, or it'll just be a really long grind. Either way, this game was certainly fun to play, and I'll probably try to get every single Pokemon in my photo decks very slowly when I have the time. Pokemon spin-offs are always a hit or miss. They can either be incredibly successful, or they'll just fade into obscurity. Sometimes really good spin-offs fade away, despite the fanbase being really passionate about those games, and we just never hear about them again. Oftentimes we see really cool spin-off games that would work really well on platforms like the Nintendo Switch, but the Pokemon Company just doesn't acknowledge them at all. When you really think about it, some spin-offs like Conquest could benefit from a second life on the Switch. You can find fans that would have liked this kind of game back in the day, but didn't quite get into tactics games until around the Switch era. We've seen Pokemon Snap come back after 20 years, so I think it's safe to say anything is possible if you put the right team to work. Thanks for watching my Pokemon Spin-Offs video. I know I was missing some big series like Mystery Dungeon, but I didn't want to talk about series that I've yet to play, so I hope you can understand. What are your favorite Pokemon spin-offs? Is there a spin-off you want to see get ported to the Switch, or even get a sequel on the Switch? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to see everyone's favorites. I recommend subscribing to this channel so you don't miss stream VODs and other videos from me. If you want to talk about Pokemon spin-offs and other things gaming, join me at my Twitch channel where I'm live Wednesdays and Fridays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link to my Twitch is in the description down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.